Celebrations marking World Environment Day are taking place around the globe. World Environment Day was founded to promote awareness and action for the environment's protection. This year, the event's theme was Connecting People to Nature. Lifestyles has more.
Slum drummers who transform waste products into musical instruments have become very popular not only in Kenya but around the world. Every single instrument they play is made from all kinds of trash, including spray cans, old plastic bags, and plastic bottles.
These things that people throw, they are the valuable things to me. Like these things, to you maybe they are things, but to us they are musical instruments.
The slum drummers have their own new invention too. It's their largest instrument made from plastic waste pipes. They call it the tuberphone.
It through these pipes the one that people use for sewages, and instead of us coming and use it in that way, we transform the tubes to make it an instrument. We made it ourselves because we believe in transformation.
Through their music and creativity, they also try to help other street children have a better life in the future. A subway train with the theme of protecting the environment ran in southwest China's Sichuan province on the World Environmental Day. The train is named Childhood Memory and is decorated with playful images such as kites, fireflies, stars, rivers, and fruitful terrains.
This is the first time I'm taking the green subway, so I feel it's very meaningful. Blue sky and white clouds are part of my childhood memories. The special train brings me back to my childhood. It can also promote our environmental awareness and encourage us to use green transport to get around.
Today, we mainly want to raise people's awareness of using environmentally friendly transport. Everybody needs to contribute to blue sky in Chengdu.
The 2017 International Summit of New Environmental Protection Technology took place in Nanjing's International Expo Center. The theme of the summit is on promoting eco-development with new technology. Nearly 300 environmental companies participated, focusing on the cutting-edge technology in water, land, and air.
We have this system which allows us to compare the normal water quality with a sample. If the water quality rating is abnormal, then it indicates the region may have the problem of illegal drainage.
The summit also displayed environmental monitoring UAV, unmanned ships, and other new equipment. Experts said they would be able to use high-performance computers more effectively to analyze data that can then be given to the public.
We have used a lot of technology to improve our scientific researches and environmental monitoring capability. We have adopted unmanned aerial vehicle monitoring and unmanned surveillance. We even used a high-performance data computer to simulate the air in the coming 5 to 7 days. It is like weather forecast that can accurately predict the air pollution and the future trend of change.
The exhibitors from the US, Japan, Denmark, South Korea, and other countries also showcased new technologies in the field of environmental protection.
We are from the Danish delegation at the conference, and we've come to China because we would like to create some bonds between Chinese companies that are in soil remediation and the Danish companies. The thing is that China is facing more and more concerns over soil pollution, and we would like to introduce the Danish technology and know-how to the Chinese market, so China can clean up the polluted soils, and Denmark can work together with the Chinese companies about cleaning the soils.
The summit was an opportunity for international companies to work together on technologies for the environmental protection across the world.
India has launched a communication satellite using its heaviest ever rocket. The launch is considered to be a key milestone for the country and one step towards sending astronauts into space.
India has indigenously developed a cryogenic engine which launches heavier payloads into space, for which the country's scientists are being credited with. But this launch has also been seen as India's first step towards sending human missions into deep space. How successful this would be, only time will tell.
The homemade rocket, named the Geosynchronous Satellite Launch Vehicle, or GSLV, marked the third, or Fat Boy, lifted off from the southern spaceport of Sriharikota on Monday afternoon. On board was the GSAT-19, a communications satellite that weighs more than 3 tons. It's the heaviest satellite lifted by an Indian rocket so far. It also means the country joins a select club of countries capable of lifting that much into space, of the US, Russia, China, Japan, and European Space Agency. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has congratulated the space scientists. He said the mission takes India closer to the next-generation launch vehicle and satellite capability. The head of Nuclear and Space Policy Initiative at a premier Indian think tank, Observer Research Foundation, hailed the achievement.
This is one of the most muscular, as they call it, the muscular launch vehicles for India in a sense, with a heavy payload capability. So I think it's a particularly good time for India to engage in this and develop this capacity on a fast pace, so that we don't lose the commercial opportunity, but also we create certain amount of self-sufficiency, self-reliance.
Modi's government has been promoting its domestic space program as a low-cost alternative to other nations. In February, it launched 104 satellites in a single mission, most of them for foreign customers. The Indian Space Agency also has plans for a manned space mission involving sending astronauts into a low Earth orbit.
People in Britain have reacted to Saturday's attack with both outrage and solidarity, and they believe terrorism will not win.
Britain was struck again as unidentified attackers driving a van ran over pedestrians and stabbed them on Saturday night in London, leaving at least 6 people killed. It came less than 2 weeks after the Manchester suicide bombing that killed 22 and injured 116 others. After the attack, CNC talked to some UK citizens who gave their views on public security in the country.
No, I don't feel insecure, and I think that most Londoners won't feel insecure. London has had a long history of terrorism. It's still one of the safest cities in the world. We had the IRA for many decades, and London carries on. This is a city that was bombed day and night during the Second World War, where thousands were sometimes killed. So I don't think this is going to affect London in any great extent, and I think it's important not to allow the terrorists to believe they've succeeded in any way. So as soon as the investigation is complete, I know the police will want to return the area to normality, and I think Londoners and also the many tourists we have will be wanting to go about enjoying life.
It is a worrying thought that this might happen more and more, which is why I think it is, well, we think it's the most important that we, in times like these, spread a message of unity and love rather than hatred, because we think that if we respond with hatred and fear, then they would have won. They will have broken up this society and turned us against each other, which is something that cannot happen, and we should not let happen.
Observers said the attacks may cast a shadow on the upcoming general election, scheduled for June the 8th, as people become more concerned with security than other issues.
Terrorists will want to have an impact on the general election, and whether they will or not will depend not on their actions but on the way the politicians respond to this. If they try to exploit this for election purposes and make statements, then it might affect that. I would hope not. I would hope that all political parties recognize this as a common issue that they can address after the election. If they have different policies, they can implement them differently if they're successful in getting elected.
but it would be a great shame if parties started squabbling over this issue to try and get votes, in which case the only people who will succeed are the terrorists, because they will have affected an election.
Prime Minister Theresa May earlier announced the election will go ahead as planned, with campaigns resuming on Monday.
3 giant pandas born and raised in Japan have arrived in Chengdu in southwest China, where they will begin a new life.
The panda twins and their younger sister had been living at Adventure World in Shirahama, Wakayama Prefecture in Japan. The male-female twins, called Hai Bang and Yan Ban, were born on August 11, 2010, while their younger sister Yo Ban was born on August 10, 2012. In 1994, the Chengdu base and the Japanese park started a panda breeding research program. Over the years, 15 pandas have been bred, with 8 returned to China. Cubs born to pandas on loan from China must be returned after they reach sexual maturity or when the cooperative agreement ends. The 3 pandas will return to Chengdu Research Base of giant panda breeding on Tuesday. They will undergo a month-long quarantine and orientation period before meeting the public.
Chinese scientists think they have found a new way to treat cancer of the plasma cells. Multiple myeloma affects under 1% of the people at some point in their life, and until now has generally been considered as incurable. Lifestyles has more.
The announcement was made at the annual meeting of the American Society of Clinical Oncology held in Chicago. There, a Chinese team explained how the therapy, called chimeric antigen receptor or CAR T-cell immunotherapy, could be a safe and effective way to treat the cancer. A study by Xi'an Jiao Tong University showed 33 out of 35 patients with multiple myeloma began to recover after receiving experimental CAR T-cell products. Michael S. Sable, fellow of the American College of Surgeons, called the trial of the therapy and the science behind it revolutionary.
I think what you're seeing here is the expansion of immunotherapy to cancers that really are refractory to chemotherapy, and how immunotherapy is now really providing hope to a lot of patients with cancers that were not really responding to our standard chemotherapies. But what I also think is really fascinating about this and similar forms of research is you are now seeing the merger of immunotherapy with precision medicine. This is really the epitome of personalized medicine.
Zhao Wenhong, who organized the study, explained what makes this treatment so much more successful than previous attempts.
Why is there such a good curative effect? It is because of the specialty of our product. Our product is a specific dual targeting treatment. That is, the vast majority of the CAR T are single targeting treatment. It is like using one hand to catch a ball. The ball is a tumor cells. Using a single target, one hand, to capture the ball, it is really hard, and the ball will slip easily. Then our dual targeting treatment is like using both hands to catch the ball, which can hold the ball tightly. In this way, we can capture tumor cells and then kill the tumor cells. So, this is the main reason why our products are more efficient.
Fan Xiaohu, who helped invent the treatment, says, as well as curing patients, the discovery could help boost Chinese medical industry too.
Now we have invented a multi-specific, multi-targeting CAR T technology, which is a unique technology around the world. We have intellectual property protection over our invention. So if in the future the international pharmaceutical companies want to produce similar products, they will have to obtain authorities from us.
Multiple myeloma is a cancer of plasma cells from bone marrow. Without treatment, typical survival is around 7 months. Although through chemotherapy, steroids, and stem cell transplants, this can be extended to 4 or 5 years.
This year marks the 40th anniversary of China's National College Entrance Exam, or Gaokao. A special school for HIV-positive students in North China has caused controversy by arranging for 16 of the students to take the exam separately from non-HIV students.
The 16 students will sit the Gaokao, China's college entrance exam, in separate classrooms at Linfen Red Ribbon School in Shanxi Province, the country's only school for HIV children. The students aged 17 to 21 are the first group of high school graduates from here. The school, originally called A Tiny Classroom of Love, was opened by Linfen Third People's Hospital to teach 4 HIV children. It was founded in 2011, offering both primary and middle school education. The Gaokao exam is seen as the most important test for Chinese students, with millions of candidates participating every year. The school's principal Guo Xiaoping said the decision to allocate separate exam rooms was out of concern for HIV-positive children who were infected through mother-to-child transmission. However, separate exam sites for HIV students sparks controversy. Some people take it as discrimination, with a doctor in Beijing stressing there is no risk of transmission when HIV-positive students take exams alongside other candidates. While some think separate sites can remove the worry of others and provide free space for people with HIV infection. No matter what ideas they take, it shows the growing acceptance of people with HIV.
After the Gaokao examination, they may go to college. I hope they can strive to become stronger and more confident as an individual. I hope they can protect themselves and also protect other people. Besides, I also hope people can give them as much help as they can and care them.
In China, some 654,000 people are HIV positive or live with AIDS.
Dongbei Village in China's Henan province is famous as the home of Chinese acrobatics. The art form has its own local characteristics here, which are passed down from generation to generation and performed by local farmers. Let's take a look.
The man performing in the show is Liu Ziyi. Now 60, he has been practicing acrobatics since childhood, and his performance still pushes the limits.
I started to learn acrobatics when I was 5 or 6 years old. When I was good enough for stage performance, I went out with the Red Star Circus to perform until now.
Dongbei Village acrobatics is listed under China's intangible heritage.
There are 20% of the people in our village who are younger or older than me, except very young ones. Almost everyone can perform. The art has been passed on for many generations.
Here, the performance is characterized by its local style. Local government is tapping the potential of acrobatics to boost local tourism.
The acrobatics park consists of 3 parts: culture, acrobatics, and tourism. There are 8 family courtyards, the Qiao, Liu, and Li. One features acrobatics, one features catering services, one features drama. The actors of those acrobatics courtyards come from acrobatic schools and old actors. If the weather permits, like during the International Labor Day holiday, we accommodated more than 260,000 tourists.
Nearly 1 in 7 of the 2,800 villagers are in the acrobatics business. The village has 36 acrobatics families and 1 acrobatics school. And out of the village's 11 performance teams, 5 of them perform in China and 6 of them perform abroad, including in the US, Australia, Italy, and South Korea.
I started to practice acrobatics when I was 6 years old, and I have been performing for the Red Star Circus ever since. Now I am 60 years old. I stay in the village and perform for the Liu acrobatic team, making more than 5,000 yuan a month.
Acrobatics in Dongbei village are said to have originated from the descendants of Lü Bu, a famous general in the Three Kingdom period. Their acrobatics here reached its peak in the 1910s, when the renowned Qiao team performed in over 20 countries.
In Finland, celebrations took place for Flag Day, an event commemorating Karl Mannerheim, World War II commander-in-chief and the 6th president of the country.
A special national parade was organized in Helsinki to celebrate Flag Day. Finland's Army and Air Force displayed their flying prowess in an air show on Sunday. Crowds gathered to watch the performances by NH transport helicopters, F/A-18 Hornet fighters, and the Midnight Hawks aerobatic team. Finnish military forces lined up in Senate Square in central Helsinki at midday for review. A massive parade through Helsinki's main avenue then followed. Finnish President Sauli Niinisto and Chief of Defense Jarmo Lindberg attended the parade of armed forces in front of the music hall. Some 1,300 people joined this year's procession, along with 50 vehicles from all three services. These parades have been held annually since 1952, but Sunday's events were bigger than usual, as this year marks Finland's 100 years of independence and the 150th anniversary of Mannerheim's birth.
In Nepal, the wheelchair basketball competition, known as Engage Empowering League 2017, is underway in capital Kathmandu. The competition involves 4 women's teams and 6 men's teams, drawing over 120 young people with disabilities to perform here. Lifestyles has the details.
The event is organized by Engage, a nonprofit organization to promote self-empowerment beyond Nepalese people living with disabilities. It's also aimed at raising the awareness of wheelchair basketball in the country.
The main objective of the league is to project a different image of youth with disability, so that the society can understand that they can be amazing athletes and they can go really far in the sport, but also in life as well.
They plan to build the skills of young people with disabilities and give them opportunities. The league is being played under the round-robin system, where 5 players from each team compete in a court. Barrett from Jagjakot has been using a wheelchair since he was a child. He has played basketball for nearly 3 years.
I spent my childhood in the hostel of an organization for disabled kids. I knew about wheelchair basketball from a TV program and got motivated to play. After passing the exam, I joined a team of 8 players and started playing. Initially, it was difficult, but now I have found a new life.
The league is equally popular among young women with disabilities. 4 women's teams with over 40 players are participating in the league.
There are many changes in life now. Earlier, I had no idea that disabled people could play basketball in this way. I used to stay inside home. I'm a married woman and was limited within home to do the housework. Now this sport has brought me to the outer world.
Hi, this is Little Chinese Channel, 小小中文, Lesson 19. In this lesson, we will be teaching you these 6 Chinese characters. From our last lesson, we learned the character 1. If we put a dot on top, it turns into 方, 方, 方 means square. 正方形正方形正方形正方形 means square. Fang is part of these 2 characters. Next, we'll learn a new root character. What's this? Shan, shan, shan means mountain. Gao shan, gao shan, gao shan, gao shan means high mountain. If we extend this stroke and make a second shan below it, this character is chu, chu, chu means to come out. 出来, 出来 means to come out. Next, we'll learn a new root character. What's this? 己 means self. 自己 means self. Notice that the tip of this big tail is level with this stroke. If we move this up and leave a bit of space up here, this character is 已 means already. 已经 means already. If we flip this stroke and add a vertical stroke over here, the orange Play-Dohs are only one stroke in all. This character is 弓 means bow. 弓腰 means to bend down. That's right. When you're writing, remember to follow the stroke sequence. Fang means square. Shan is mountain. Chu means to come out. Ji means self. Yi means already. Gong means bow. Bye-bye, the lesson is done.